Good evening and welcome inside the Sullivan Center here in Joliet, Illinois. It's the University of St. Francis taking on St. Ambrose in a CCAC basketball matchup. Welcome to the broadcast. Terry Bonadonna with you today as the Saints try to improve on a solid start to the season. They're 3-1 so far this year, 2-1 in conference. The Bees off to a hot start as well. 5-1. They are unbeaten in their first two CCAC games. We're ready for the tip. It's Lewis Holy against John Kerr, and it's won by Kerr as St. Ambrose takes first possession. The team in navy blue going from left to right, fighting Saints in white going from right to left over the first 20 minutes of tonight's action. St. Ambrose playing against St. Francis for the first time this year, trying to avenge a pair of losses from a year ago as John Kerr hurls one towards the hoop. No good, gets his own rebound, misses again, and Mitch Quasigro comes down with it. Fighting Saints have won 5 of their last 7 overall against the Bees, and Eric Ting gets a foul and goes to the line to start things off on a solid first offensive possession for St. Francis. Let's take a look at the starters for both teams. For the visiting Bees of St. Ambrose, the guards are Dylan Kazmarek and Jake Meske. Forwards Michael Williams and Ben Scholes. John Kerr is the center. Eric Ting's first free throw gets us started with the scoring. 1-0 St. Francis. Fighting Saints, of course, have Ting in the backcourt along with Malik Bailey and Cole Mysick. The forwards are Lewis Holy and Mitch Quasigro. Second shot up coming for Ting, averaging just over 9 points per game. He's got the first 2 tonight. 2-0, the Fighting Saints lead, and it's Fighting Bees basketball. Bees are able to break the light press down into the corner. Michael Williams gets Holy in the air, drives, kicks into the corner, and is called for an offensive foul. Michael Williams charges. Mitch Quasigro hung in there and took it. Good defense from Quasigro and the Fighting Saints, and it's a turnover. Not a great offensive start for St. Ambrose. 0 of 2 shooting, and now an offensive foul. They've committed 2 already in this first half. Not yet a minute gone by. Here's Malik Bailey with the basketball on the right side, passing it up top to Quasigro and swung around to the left. Eric Ting takes it up top and resets the offense. Bounce to the right elbow. This is Lewis Holy handing it back to Ting. Thought about the 3. He puts it on the floor instead. Loses the handle with 10 on the shot clock. Gets it back. Hands it to Quasigro. Long 3. Mitch Quasigro misses a little bit short. And Jake Meske comes down with the rebound. Fighting Bees trying to run as Meske tries to push it past Eric Ting. He slows down and backs up to half court. Hand off to Ben Scholes coming around right to left. Scholes picks up his dribble, dishes it off to Williams. Williams right wing to Meske. Meske pump fakes, gets Ting in the air, drives, lays it in from the right side, and we're tied at 2. First points of the game for St. Ambrose. A strong drive for Jake Meske. And now the Bees put on a light full court press, but Eric Ting's able to race across it into the corner. Cole Mysick knocks down the 3. Cole Mysick is the Saints' leading scorer, tied with Jordan Thornton coming in, averaging 12.3 points per game, and Mysick's got his first 3 tonight. St. Ambrose basketball, Williams from the corner, trying for the answer. Perfect. And we're knotted up at 5, so the two teams trading buckets early on. We are 2 minutes into the action, 5 up. Here's Mitch Quasigro and Eric Ting trying to get it across half court and around Michael Williams. They do it. Here's Eric Ting left all alone for 3 from the right, and he rattles it home. Eric Ting's got 5 of the Saints' first 8. St. Francis has not trailed in the first few minutes here. Every time St. Ambrose has scored, the Saints have taken one right back. And speaking of taking it back, Eric Ting comes up with a steal and draws the foul. Quick hands on defense for the junior transfer Eric Ting, playing in his 5th game as a Fighting Saint. He ripped the ball away from John Kerr and then took the foul on the reach-in. Saints inbound from the sideline. Mysick into Ting. Bounce to Quasigro at the free throw line. Quasigro, guarded by Williams, puts the ball on the floor and hands it off to Ting. Ting, crossover, 3 ball, good. He hit one from the right, now he gets it from the left side. Eric Ting is red hot to begin today's game. Already 8 points to go along with his steal. And the Saints have their biggest lead yet, 6 points, with 17-12 to go in the first half. St. Ambrose basketball, it's John Kerr on the left side. Kerr up top to Michael Williams. Williams thought about the long shot, instead passes to his right. It's Dylan Kazmarek in possession. Kazmarek bounces down low to Kerr. Backing down on Quasigro. Turnaround jumper from close range, no good, and Lewis Holy comes down with the board. Here's Micek pushing the pace. Micek picks up his dribble inside the free throw line, passes out to Quasigro, who hands it right back to Micek. Now the Saints reset on offense, and Micek throws it away. Jumping the passing lane, John Kerr comes away with the steal. Kerr flying down the floor, lays it in. John Kerr turns strong defense into offense as he picks up his first 2 points of the night. Saints still lead, but now it's down to 4 with 16.5 minutes to go. Malik Bailey into the lane. Bailey throws up a runner, no good. Offensive rebound. Holy putback is good. Lewis Holy is the Saints' leading rebounder this year, averaging a double-double. 10 points, 10.5 rebounds. 6-point lead for St. Francis. St. Ambrose has the basketball, and they slow things down a little bit. It's Ben Scholes on the right side, guarded by Eric Ting. Picked up by Bailey now. He fires down low. Williams up with the left hand and in. A little baby hook from Michael Williams. Good positioning underneath. And he pulls his team back within 4. Malik Bailey for the Saints, down to the corner. It's Cole Micek. Micek has 3 points early on around a screen. He dishes down low for Holy. Off of St. Ambrose, they save it from going out of bounds, and the Bees are able to take over. Holy was not prepared for that pass, thought that Micek was going to shoot, put himself in rebounding position, and the ball was thrown away. And now a foul down low committed by the Fighting Saints. First foul going against St. Francis. St. Ambrose has already committed 3 of them. And the foul leads to some substitutes coming on for both teams. Jordan Thornton and Joey Bujemi is in for the Fighting Saints. Mitch Quasigro checks out. He's the one who was called for the foul. Malik Bailey also out for the Saints. Dylan Kazmarek receives the inbounds pass for the Bees. Scholes driving the baseline up over Bujemi. No good off the glass. Rebound to Micek. Micek running down the left side. Inside the three-point arc, he kicks it out to Ting. Ting drives down the lane. Layup is good from Eric Ting. Ting's already in double figures. A gorgeous drive there. John Kerr trying to respond quickly for St. Ambrose. Banks it in, and the foul. A late whistle against Lewis Holy, who didn't have position. Kerr was already able to finish on the shot. And now a chance at a three-point play. First foul on Holy, second on the team. Isaiah Harvey and Warren Allen are both on the floor for St. Ambrose right now. They came in during that last whistle. Kerr does finish off the three-point play. He's got 5 of his team's 12, and it's a one-possession game. Just over 5 minutes into the action. Eric Ting up to Cole Micek. Bounce to the left elbow. It's Bujemi. Bujemi bounces down low. Lewis Holy up with the right hand. He doesn't quite get the roll. That one hung on the rim forever. Finally fell out though. Drive from Allen, and Warren Allen's able to lay it in from the left side and pull St. Ambrose within a point. Nice drive by Allen as he picks up his first points of the night. Allen, a 7.5 point per game scorer. A lot of balance scoring-wise on this St. Ambrose team. Here's Eric Ting, who's done the lion's share of the scoring for the Saints so far today. Swung around to Micek. Micek drives from the right wing, lays it up off the glass and in. Saints are doing a nice job of getting to the basket early on, scoring from inside and outside here in the first half. They lead by 3. They've led pretty much the whole way so far. Still very early in this game as Warren Allen bounces once from the free throw line. Too strong off the backboard. Offensive rebound. John Kerr back up with it. Off the back iron, no. Rebounded by Lewis Holy. 4-on-4. There's a player down on both sides of the end of the floor. Jordan Thornton from underneath the hoop scoops it out to Bujemi. Now Micek brings it back, and both teams are back to full strength on this side of the court. 13 on the shot clock as Micek passes to the right. It's Bujemi. Guarded by John Kerr. Steps around a screen. And a foul is called on St. Ambrose as John Kerr pulls Lewis Holy to the floor. Holy was setting a screen for Bujemi. John Kerr trying to get around it. Got tangled up. The two players both hit the floor. The foul was called against St. Ambrose's big man, and that was a big call because both players were already at 1 foul. So either side that it went against was going to pick up his second. It ends up going against St. Ambrose, and now Kerr has to sit down with 2 fouls. Lewis Holy sits down as well. That's just for a rest. He's not in foul trouble. He's got just the one. Justin Uju is coming in for St. Francis. St. Ambrose brought in Patrick Torrey, freshman from Pekin, Illinois, to replace John Kerr. Quick discussion first between one of the officials and both head coaches. Ray Shovlin right now. He already talked to Ryan Marks. Shovlin in his 37th season as the head coach of the St. Ambrose Bees. He's very familiar with this court. He's been out here a number of times. Saints all-time 19-16 against the Bees. Jordan Thornton steps around a screen, fires a long two. It's no good, and rebounded by Isaiah Harvey. 5'11" sophomore guard from the Virgin Islands. Harvey is grabbed on the other end by Eric Ting, who's called for the reach-in. First foul on Ting. Saints are called for the third overall. A few more subs for both teams. Arnold Agard for St. Francis. Jake Meske is back out there for St. Ambrose, along with Trey Falter. This is Meske on the left side, guarded by the new St. Jared Gamazel. Around the screen, he passes off to Harvey. Isaiah Harvey's three-pointer misses, and it's rebounded by the senior guard, Jordan Thornton. Outlet pass to Agard, back to Thornton, top of the key. He's got a mismatch, driving around the center, Patrick Torrey. He scores and draws the foul. Heads up play by Jordan Thornton, recognizing the big mismatch, guarded by the 6'7" tall freshman center. He blew by him, and Torrey made the contact as Thornton went to the basket to lay it in. 5-point lead for St. Francis. They can match their biggest of the game so far. If this free throw goes in, it does. It's a 6-point lead. Saints lead 20-14, 12:45 to play in the first half. Warren Allen gets it across half court and passes off to a Falter. Back towards the midcourt circle. This is Isaiah Harvey, guarded loosely by fellow number 5, Arnold Agard. Shot clock is down to 12 as the pass goes to Allen. Lob down low. Torrey, good positioning on Uju, goes up and scores with the right hand off the glass. First 2 points for Torrey tonight. Agard over to Jordan Thornton on the right side. Up top, Joey Bajemi. Saints working the ball around the perimeter on this possession. Jared Gamazel gets his first touch. Over to Thornton. One dribble. Off the glass. No good on the long jumper. Rebound knocked out of bounds. Last touch by St. Francis. So we're going the other way. Warren Allen to inbound as the Fighting Saints put on a full court press. Meske picks up his dribble after one bounce, gets it back to Allen. Allen, the forward, is able to dribble it across half court. He takes it all the way in himself, misses the runner, but draws the foul. He's headed to the line for 2 shots. Warren Allen, just a 50% foul shooter, so may not have been a bad foul right there on Justin Uju. It's only his first. It is the 4th on the team. First foul shot from Allen, a high arcer that drops in. 3 straight for St. Ambrose to get back within a possession after the Saints had extended their lead to 6 points with a quick 5-0 spurt. Allen misses on the second, so true to form, he makes 50%, but the offensive rebound is chased down by Trey Falter. Falter open up for 3. Misses it short. Offensive rebound, Allen. He's stripped by Jordan Thornton, and the loose ball is secured by Gamazel. Gamazel puts the ball behind his back, dribbles his way around Allen. Off to Thornton on the right. Wanted to go quickly, but the defense was in position, so Thornton backs it up instead. Resetting the possession, bounce to the right elbow. It's Uju out to Gamazel. Nice fake, dribbles in, kicks it out to Thornton. Jordan Thornton for 3, in and out. Rebound, Warren Allen. St. Ambrose down by just 3, has the ball, going left to right, passed over to a Falter on the left wing. Back up top, Isaiah Harvey fakes to the right, now puts the ball on the ground, walks it off to the left side, bounce down low for Torrey. The ball knocked away, it's loose, and we got a tie-up between Torrey and Gamazel. The possession arrow faces St. Francis. It's our first held ball of the game. And after St. Ambrose won the tip, the Saints get the first possession arrow. Josh Cherry is in for St. Francis. So it's Cherry, Agard, Gamazel, Uju, and Thornton. 5 subs on the floor for Ryan Marks' squad right now with 11 minutes to go in the first half. Saints lead by 3. They've not trailed in the first half. Right elbow, it's Cherry who hands it off to Gamazel, circling around from the corner. Gamazel double team, picks up his dribble, passes off to Uju who backs it up. 13 on the shot clock. Here's Jordan Thornton back to midcourt circle. Thornton throws it away. It's intercepted by Warren Allen. Allen going the other way, and he is fouled by Thornton. Good play by Jordan Thornton. Looked like it was going to be an easy 2 for Warren Allen. Thornton came flying in. He's giving up 5 inches on Allen, but he got up as high as Allen did. The bench thought it was a clean block initially, but Thornton is called for his first foul. And Allen back to the free throw line where he made 1 of 2 a few moments ago. He makes the first one again this time. 20-18. St. Ambrose has scored 4 straight points to get back within 2. 10:37 to play in the first half. It's been a while since St. Francis has scored. I'm not sure what confusion is here. I think they just want to make sure they've given the foul to the right player. It was on Jordan Thornton, clearly. Tonight's officials, Dan Dorian, Rich Parsons, and Scott Tierney. We've seen 10 total fouls called so far, as this time Allen makes both free throws. 20-19. Michael Williams is back in for St. Ambrose. Williams is the team's leading scorer at 14.8 points per game, but leading scorer doesn't necessarily mean a lot on this Bees team. They're so balanced. They've got 3 guys averaging at least 14 points, all within 1 point of each other for the team lead. Jordan Thornton flies to the hoop, a good drive, but he can't finish. A little bit too hard on the layup. And now St. Ambrose down by a point has a chance to take their first lead of the game. Neski's quick 3 misses. Offensive rebound, Torrey up and in. And St. Ambrose does take their first lead. They're on a 7-0 run, and they're on top 21-20. St. Francis hasn't scored in several minutes now, and it doesn't change initially as Agard fires the ball off the rim looking for the pass to Josh Cherry. Fortunately for the Saints, Justin Uju is there to pick up the deflection. Shot clock did reset on the ball hitting the rim. And then it reset again, and that's why we've got a whistle stopping play right now. So they've got to sort out the shot clock. The ball hit the rim, but it was not a shot attempt for St. Francis. They reset the shot clock again a few seconds later, and it's at 18 right now. Jared Gamazel drives the baseline reverse layup, no. Rebounded by a Falter, and he's fouled. Foul on Uju. It's his second in limited action. Mitch Quasigro comes in for him. It's the 6th foul now on St. Francis. So the next one will send St. Ambrose to the free throw line. St. Ambrose again breaks the press easily. This is Dylan Kazmarek with the basketball. He walks it off to the right side, near the sideline, picks up his dribble, bounces low for Williams. Williams steps back, fadeaway jumper, good over the outstretched arm of Quasigro. The run is 9-0 in favor of St. Ambrose, and they've got a 3-point lead. Saints have gone cold. Agard bounces to Quasigro. Quasigro holds it just outside the arc, hands it to Thornton. Jordan Thornton starts to drive, kicks it out to Quasigro. 3-pointer is good. Mitch Quasigro ties us up at 23. Quasigro's been kind of a revelation shooting threes. That wasn't a huge part of his game last year. This season shooting 47% on the long ball coming in. And he's made his first tonight. Makes it 50% for the year as a foul is called on St. Francis. Looks like that'll go against Josh Cherry away from the ball, and that will send St. Ambrose to the free throw line. 23-23, we're tied. 8:45 to play, first half. And St. Ambrose has a chance to make some hay from the foul stripe. They've already done so, having made 3 free throws. Saints got their first 2 points of the night on Eric Ting free throws, but we haven't seen anybody sent to the line since. Malik Bailey is back in for St. Francis. Saints are trying to get him hot. Off to a very cold shooting start to the season. Patrick Torrey makes the first in a 1-and-1. Torrey, another guy who's not a great foul shooter. He was 6 for 9 coming in. But he makes the all-important front end, and now he makes the also important second half of his free throws. 25-23 St. Ambrose. St. Francis basketball. Thornton across the timeline, walks it off to the right side. Up top, Malik Bailey. Bailey to Gamazel on his left. Gamazel gets a screen, passes back to Quasigro. Here's the drive from Mitch Quasigro. Off the glass in, and a foul. And that's the second foul on Michael Williams. So a big foul for a couple of reasons. As St. Francis has tied the score, they've got a chance to take a lead, and they've potentially put one of St. Ambrose's top players on the bench. He's going to stay in for the time being. Quasigro does make the free throw. Imagine we'll see a sub for Williams relatively soon. Warren Allen walks it across half court. Allen behind his back to Kazmarek. Passes over to the left. This is Ben Scholes. Scholes is off to a quiet start today as he bounces low for Williams. Kick back outside. Three-pointer Kazmarek. No good. Rebounded Jordan Thornton. Thornton fires down the floor to a wide-open Gamazel. Three-pointer from the corner is on target. 29-25 St. Francis as Gamazel was left all alone for 3 from the corner there. The Saints have started to get hot. They're on a 9-2 run following a 9-0 run for St. Ambrose. Here's Allen receiving with his back to the basket, poked away from behind by Quasigro. Loose ball picked up by Malik Bailey. Bailey fires to Gamazel in the corner. He passes off to Jordan Thornton. Cross-court Bailey, open look for 3, and Bailey hits one. Timeout called by St. Ambrose as the Saints run their streak to 12-2. A three-pointer from Bailey, and that's huge. Malik Bailey was the top three-point shooter on the team last season and one of the top scorers, averaging better than 10 points per game this year. A very slow start from the outside. Bailey came into tonight shooting just 21% on three-pointers, averaging 8 points per game. Bailey has put the Saints on top by 7, and that's a new high lead for them. They had been up by 6 a couple of times previously. St. Francis entered play today with 4 different players averaging in double figures. Malik Bailey was at 8 points, so good game for him. And he could reach double figures on the average as well. And Eric Ting came in averaging 9.3 points per game. He's already surpassed that. He's at 11. And so he may be averaging double figures by the end of the night too. So a lot of balance offensively from both teams as Kazmarek loses the ball, chases it down just before it went out of bounds. Allen at the free throw line, kicks it out to Ben Scholes. Shot clock at 13 for Scholes, who walks it to the right side. His Bees trail by 7. Williams down low, stripped by Jordan Thornton. Loose ball picked up by Bailey. Good defense by the Saints. Here's Josh Cherry. A little bit out of control, and Cherry is called for the offensive foul as Ben Scholes hangs in there and takes the charge. I'm not sure Scholes was completely set, but Cherry created the contact. Not really in control on that drive, and so the offensive foul sends it the other way. It's the second foul on Cherry. The Saints have now committed 8 as a team. John Kerr across half court, passes back to Dylan Kazmarek, who gets everybody set up. Kazmarek walks it to the right side, picks up his dribble, gives it to Kerr. Pump fake, Kerr drives down the lane, layup, no good, and an offensive foul. Charge on Kerr, and I believe that's his third. Kerr picked up 2 fouls quickly. He was on the bench for a while, just came back in, and almost immediately after returning to the action, he picks up his third foul. So he'll be on the bench for a while now. Almost certainly the rest of the first half, if not to start the second half as well. Eric Ting is back in for the Saints with Joey Bujemi. Ting is on the left wing. Up top, Jordan Thornton. Thornton fires it to the right side. Bailey, another three. Air ball this time. Rebounded by Torrey. Quick pass ahead to Williams. Bees trying to score in transition. Open three for Scholes. Off the front iron, no. Rebound tapped out to Mitch Quasigro. And Quasigro slows it down. 6:10 to play. Bailey for three. He got this one. Bailey's hit two from the outside. Saints are on a 15-2 run, and they've got a 10-point lead. In fact, it's a 12-0 run for St. Francis right now. Williams up top to Kazmarek. Kazmarek looking for help. Doesn't wait for it. He walks off to the left side, shadowed by Malik Bailey. Kazmarek picks it up with 8 to shoot into Torrey. Kicked out to Williams. Fakes the three, gives it to Scholes. Scholes at the free throw line to Allen. 1 to shoot. Allen doesn't get it off in time. The shot went down, but the buzzer had already gone off. It's a shot clock violation and a turnover. Saints basketball. Lewis Holy comes in for Mitch Quasigro. Cole Misick for Jordan Thornton, who got a nice little run off the bench. 10-point lead for St. Francis. They've got the basketball with 5.5 minutes to go in the half. Eric Ting walks it to the right. Ting up top to Bailey. Bailey lobs over to Bujemi. Bujemi turns to face the basket, flings it out to Ting. Ting down the baseline, reverse layup may have been blocked there by Ben Scholes. It's taken away by St. Ambrose. Down by 10, trying to erase a 12-0 run. Warren Allen gets inside over Holy, does not get the roll. Holy comes down with the rebound. Handed off to Bailey. Malik Bailey gets inside the arc, kicks it to Misick. Misick hits a three. Saints have been getting hot from the outside, something that St. Ambrose hasn't had to contend with this year. Their exterior defense has been sensational all season. So far tonight, though, the Saints have carved them up on the three balls. They lead by 13, and the Fighting Saints are now on a 15-0 run. Here's Ben Scholes crossing over, cutting down low. Scholes lobs it for Torrey underneath the basket, and it's too high and out of bounds. Another St. Ambrose turnover. They're completely out of sorts over the last 5 minutes or so. They bring Jake Meske and Trey Falter back in. 4.5 minutes to go in the half. Big lead for St. Francis. Bujemi to Ting. Eric Ting holds it on the left. Now he flings it over to Bujemi, who fakes the three. Scholes closes in. Back up top, Malik Bailey. Lobbed inside the three-point line for Holy. Holy drives on Torrey, no good. Follows his own miss, and he's fouled going up. Holy missed on the initial shot, tried to tip it in. Unsuccessful on his second attempt as well, and then brought down the second offensive rebound of the possession, right back up with it, and this time he earns a trip to the foul line. Lewis Holy's a 76% free throw shooter. And that number will go down a few ticks as he misses on the first free throw. And missed free throw is the first thing that's gone wrong in a while for St. Francis. They have been on a huge roll. Holy makes one of two. Tom Kazanecki comes in for Patrick Torrey with their starting center John Kerr on the bench in foul trouble. We see Ray Shovlin go a little deeper in his bench. Isaiah Harvey drives and lays it in. St. Ambrose finally back on the board as that snaps a 16-0 St. Francis run. Saints still lead by 12 late in the first half. Malik Bailey holds it on the right wing. He passes up top to Eric Ting. Ting gets the screen from Bujemi and dribbles off into the left corner. Crossover on Meske, he throws it away. Trying to find Holy cutting to the hoop, but a Falter jumped in the way and intercepted it. A Falter taking it coast to coast, lays it in. St. Ambrose back within 10, and Ryan Marks calls a 30-second timeout. Saints had all their timeouts, so Ryan Marks figured it was a good time right now to use one and cut this potential St. Ambrose run before it really gets going. They've scored 4 in a row and it's really been a game of runs lately. Saints led for the first 10-plus minutes, and then St. Ambrose scored 9 consecutive points to move ahead by as many as 3. St. Francis answered with 16 points in a row. And so their biggest lead was 39-25. It's down to 39-29 as St. Ambrose has gotten a couple of layups, one on each of their last 2 possessions. St. Ambrose comes out with Kazanecki, Harvey, a Falter, Meski, and Scholes. Saints return from their timeout with Bailey, Holy, Misick, Ting, and Bujemi. Lewis Holy's having a conversation with one of the officials, but we've got to go ahead, and the Saints take possession here. Ting across half court, walks it to the left, guarded by Meski. Ting taking his time, lobs over to Bujemi at the free throw line. Handed back to Bailey. Bailey steps back, stripped by Harvey. Isaiah Harvey takes it away. He races the other side, and Eric Ting comes in from behind and strips it. Second steal of the game for Eric Ting. Now Ting momentarily loses possession, gets it back, knocked away again by Scholes and out of bounds. It stays with the Saints. 3:01 to play in the half, 23 on the shot clock. Eric Ting will be the inbounder here. Into Bujemi, right back to Ting. Ting circles the free throw line and steps back out. Shot clock is half gone as Lewis Holy takes over on the right wing. And off to Misick. Misick drives into the paint, kicks it back out. Bailey, good defense so far in this possession for St. Ambrose. Bujemi, extra pass to Misick, 3-pointer, rims out. The rebound goes to Kazanecki. St. Ambrose can get the deficit back to single digits with a basket here. Isaiah Harvey walks it to the right, guarded by Bailey. Swung around left side, Ben Scholes. Meski with 8 to shoot. Backs it up to half court. Shot clock down to 4 seconds. Meski, left-handed layup, no good. Got every bit of the rim, but never fell. Long pass down the floor for Misick, and it's blocked from behind by Isaiah Harvey. Huge block for Harvey. He was the only man Misick had to contend with. St. Ambrose gets the stop. Now they've got the ball, still trailing by 10. Scholes drives on Bailey. He's blocked from behind by Malik Bailey. A couple of guards going back-to-back on blocks. Joey Bujemi steps into a 3 but misses it. And the rebound goes to St. Ambrose. That has not been Bujemi's shot. He's 1 for 7 from beyond the arc so far this year. Final 90 seconds of the period. It's Meski looking to his left, passing that direction. A drive from Kazanecki, and he banks it in. Nice work by Tom Kazanecki. The run is 6-0 for St. Ambrose, and they're back within 8 after trailing by a game-high 14. Saints are running short on first half possession, so they'll try to make the most of this one. Misick puts the ball behind his back, gets inside, kicks out to Holy. Lewis Holy for 3, and he drills it. Not a shot we see a lot of from Lewis Holy. Just the 3rd attempted 3-pointer this season, the first one he's made, and the Saints lead is back up to 11. Final 40 seconds of the half. Meski dribbles inside, kicks it out. Ben Scholes' 3-point attempt is good. St. Ambrose answers the Saints 3-pointer with one of their own. Gone a long way now without a stoppage. Saints have 3 players sitting by the scorer's table who've been ready to go in for a couple of minutes now. Good pace to this one here in the first half, though. Eric Ting passes over to Joey Bujemi at half court. Back to Ting. Just a second difference between the shot and game clock, so the Saints will hold on to the final shot here. 5 seconds. Ting with 3 seconds on the clock. Lobs it down low. It's intercepted by Scholes. The ball deflected to Bujemi, and he got it in time. A great end of the first half for St. Francis as the pass was deflected but not stolen. The loose ball picked up by Bujemi right underneath the hoop, and he's able to lay it in as St. Francis extends their lead at the half to 10 points, 44-34. Fun action for the first 20 minutes. We can only hope for more of the same in the second half. And that's coming your way about 15 minutes from now. Right now, I'm going to step aside. It's halftime here at St. Francis, and the Saints lead by 10. Almost time to start the second half here at St. Francis. The Fighting Saints lead the Bees of St. Ambrose 44-34 after 20 minutes of play. Terry Bonadonna with you for the second half of action as we take a quick look at some of the stats from the first half. Saints shot 52% from the field. St. Ambrose shot pretty well themselves, 48%, but a big difference was on three-pointers. St. Ambrose just 2 of 7. The Saints were 9 of 14 from beyond the arc. Coming into play today, St. Ambrose ranked 6th in the country at their opponent's three-point percentage. They had been allowing only 26% of three-pointers to go down, but the Saints have gotten consistent good looks from the outside. Leader for the Saints right now, Eric Ting has 10 points. Jordan Thornton leads the way with 3 assists. Lewis Holy has 6 rebounds. That's half of his team's total. When he has not been out there, St. Ambrose has dominated the rebounding game. Overall, they lead 17-12 in rebounds. Trey Falter has 4 of them to pace the team. Michael Williams has a team-high 7 points, but just 10 minutes for Williams. John Kerr played only 7 minutes. Those are 2 of St. Ambrose's best players, and they both had to sit a good chunk of the action so far due to foul trouble. So we'll see if that's a factor here in the second half as St. Ambrose takes first possession. They've switched sides now, going from right to left, and John Kerr, playing with 3 fouls, has the ball, passing off to Williams, who has 2 fouls on his right. Back over to Meske. Meske guarded outside by Misick. Ben Scholes bounces down low to Michael Williams. Williams fakes, now drives on Quasi-Grow, puts it up off the backboard and scores. Michael Williams has the first 2 points of the second half. He's got 9 points now for the game to lead the Fighting Bees. Here's Eric Ting on the left wing for St. Francis. Ting scored his 10 points very quickly. Finished the first half quietly, but still very strong play from the junior. Now into the corner, Quasi-Grow's 3-ball rims out. John Kerr chases down the rebound, given up to Scholes. Ben Scholes walks it slowly to his left, reverses course, and passes to the right. Williams, guarded outside by Quasi-Grow, to John Kerr. Open look for 3, it's good. And St. Ambrose opens up the second half with 5 straight points to cut St. Francis's lead in half. John Kerr, a very good three-point shooter. He doesn't take a lot of them, but he's at 50%, 5 of 10 for the season. And he hits his first of tonight. Cole Misick backs it up to the circle. 10 on the shot clock. It's Eric Ting on the left side of the floor. To Lewis Holy, who hands it to Mitch Quasi-Grow, circling the perimeter. Quasi-Grow inside, turnaround jumper misses, and the rebound goes to Dylan Kazmarek. Kazmarek ahead to Meske. St. Ambrose off to a hot start in this second half, trying to extend that hot start. Scholes scores and draws the foul. Seven straight for St. Ambrose to start the half, and now a chance to make it an 8-0 run to start the half. As Ben Scholes goes to the free throw line, Cole Misick is whistled for his first foul. 18-18 on the clock. It's the first foul of the half for either team, and the free throw goes for Scholes. So Ben Scholes has 6 points, and the deficit for St. Ambrose is only 2. They've scored the first 8 points of the half. Eric Ting around the screen, bounces to Holy, blocked from behind by Kerr. Ball loose, picked up by Meske. With 3 fouls, a risky block attempt for Kerr, but he got it, and now he loses the handle on the other side. The ball squirts right through his hands, and Lewis Holy there to scoop up the steal. Saints looking to extend their lead to 2 possessions again as Holy drives around Kerr and lays it in. And there's good awareness by Holy. He got a good first step on Kerr, and he knew that Kerr would be unlikely to pursue from behind because of those fouls that he's got, and so Holy ended up with a free path to the basket once he got by him. 8 points now for Holy, closing in on another double-double. He's got 2 of them in the first 4 games of the year, and he's averaging over 10 points and 10 rebounds. As Williams squares up a 3-pointer, no good. Long rebound out to Eric Ting. Ting to the right, starts a drive on Kazmarek, well defended, backs up, and passes to Quasi-Grow. Jump pass to Misick, top of the key, 3-ball, no good off the side iron, rebounded by Kerr. 4-point lead for St. Francis. 3 minutes into the second half. It's the Fighting Bees basketball. Williams, good position on Quasi-Grow. Turns around and scores from about 4 feet out. St. Ambrose again is within 2. Malik Bailey holds for the Saints on the left side. Up top to Cole Mysick. Mysick to Ting on the right. Gets the screen from Quasigrove. Cuts down the lane. Shovels it off to Holy. Blocked by Kerr again. Offensive rebound. Bailey for three. In and out. Rebound to Meski. Lobbed ahead for Williams. Williams lays it up. No, but the follow is good from Kazmarek. We're tied at 46, and the Saints call a timeout. St. Francis's 10-point halftime lead is already gone, as St. Ambrose has opened up the second half on a 12-2 run. That's what we saw in the first half, though, a lot of runs. The Fighting Saints went on the game's longest. They, at one point, scored 16 points in a row. St. Ambrose's best run was a 9-0 spurt that put them on top for the only time today. They were up 23-20. And St. Ambrose has only led for a grand total of a minute 21 in today's game. We've been tied 5 times, 2 lead changes. St. Francis has led so far for over 21 minutes of game action. We've only played about 24 minutes of the game, a little bit less than 24. The Saints find themselves in a tie score right now as Eric Ting walks across half court and dribbles to his right. Up top, Joey Bujemi. Bujemi just in off the bench. He picks up his dribble, bounces to Lewis Holy outside the perimeter. Hand off to Ting. 10 to shoot. Ting spins to the basket, off the glass, no. Rebound got by Kerr. Good drive there by Eric Ting. Couldn't quite finish. Kazmarek for three. It's in. And St. Ambrose leads by 3. Another timeout called by St. Francis. They've called 2 timeouts in the last 32 seconds of game time as St. Ambrose takes the lead for just the second time today. It's the first time they've been up since it was 25-23 back in the first half. And this ties their biggest lead of the game at 3 points. Kind of a stunner for St. Francis. This is a very strong St. Ambrose team. Entering play today, they averaged 87 points per game, shooting nearly 50% from the field. So I don't think anybody on that St. Francis bench thought the game was over when they were up by double digits at halftime, but I don't know that anybody thought St. Ambrose was going to come back and take the lead this quickly either. Just 4 minutes and 10 seconds into the half, they've outscored the Fighting Saints 15-2 so far, and they've got a 49-46 lead. Even in the first half, when St. Ambrose went on that great run that put them in front, that happened when St. Francis was playing all of their reserves. Saints have had their starters on the floor here, and they just have not had the shooting touch so far in the second half that they did in the first. Meanwhile, St. Ambrose has been hitting from everywhere on the floor over the last several minutes. Saints were 9 of 14 from three-point land in the first half. You knew that wasn't going to keep up. That's just too high a percentage to stick with for an entire 40 minutes. But they've got to hit something right now. Eric Ting is on the outside. Ting starts to drive, guarded by Meski, and he throws it away. Bujemi tries to track it down, deflected by Williams, and Bujemi picks it up in the backcourt. Saints' possession is alive, and now they've got a transition chance as Thornton is halted by Scholes. Great defense by St. Ambrose. Thornton walks into a three-pointer. That's short. Not a good possession there for St. Francis. Didn't get a clean shot off. And now Kerr drives for the Bees, and Kerr is called for the travel. Turnover committed by St. Ambrose. That's their first, I believe, here in the second half. They had 10 of them in the first half. Isaiah Harvey and Patrick Torrey are back in off the Bees bench. Eric Ting handling the ball for the Saints. Here's Malik Bailey. Up top to Bujemi. Bujemi looking for the cutting Ting, well defended by Harvey. Instead, he hands it off to Bailey. Malik Bailey cuts down the lane, loses the handle, knocked out of bounds by St. Ambrose. 14 on the shot clock. It stays with the Saints. They'll inbound from the baseline. Eric Ting set to be the trigger man here with 14:58 to play in the game. St. Francis trails by 3. Ting into Bujemi. Back to half court, Jordan Thornton. Thornton around a screen from Lewis Holy. Crossover. He steps back, picks up his dribble, and passes to Bujemi. Good fake. Back to Thornton. With the shot clock expiring, Thornton drills a three, and we're tied once again. That's a huge shot for Jordan Thornton. He had to get it up when he did. The shot clock was running down. And maybe that's the one that gets the Saints back on track after they have struggled mightily to shoot the ball to start the second half. We're tied for the 6th time tonight. St. Ambrose can reclaim the lead here. Ben Scholes won't allow it as he lets the ball squirt through his hands and out of bounds. He just took his eyes off of it a little bit too quickly. And the ball went right through the mitts and out the sideline. It's the second time we've seen that happen to a St. Ambrose player today. And for as well as the Bees have fought back, there have been a few too many unforced errors. I'm sure more than Ray Shovelin would like to see. Jordan Thornton can help the Saints reclaim the lead on this possession. Again, they've led for about 90% of the game, maybe 80% by this point, but they have not been accustomed to trailing or being tied as Quasigro kicks it out to Thornton. Jared Camazel wide open in the corner. His three-pointer misses short. Bujemi taps the rebound out to Thornton. The Saints will try again. Thornton is called for an offensive foul. Thornton had the ball stripped from his hands, and as he came down, I think he was called for coming down hard with his hand on the St. Ambrose defender. Thornton claimed that he wasn't stripped of the ball, but his arm was whacked going up. It's not the way the officials saw it. So it's a tie score. After back-to-back turnovers, St. Ambrose gets the ball back, 49-all. Isaiah Harvey walks it towards the sideline on the right. Harvey picks it up. Pass is knocked away by Camazel, trying to keep it in bounds, unable to do it. Shot clock does not reset for St. Ambrose as they reclaim possession. Kazmarek did reset. The officials claim that St. Francis had taken possession there. And apparently they give another turnover to Camazel as Kazmarek cuts the hoop and lays it in. I think St. Ambrose caught a break there with the shot clock restarting, but regardless, Kazmarek's able to make a play and put his team back in front. A good drive by Dylan Kazmarek. Camazel trying to answer on the other end, but he loses the ball out of bounds. So it's St. Ambrose possession, leading by 2. They have not had a multi-score lead all game. They can do that right now with just under 13 minutes to play in the second half. Warren Allen handles the ball, nearly slips and loses it. Camazel comes away with another steal. Camazel, nice drive, and he lays it in from the right side. Camazel ties us at 51. Good back and forth action now at the Sullivan Center as we're tied for the 7th time tonight. Both teams have gone on some long runs this evening. St. Francis has led by as many as 14. St. Ambrose's biggest lead was 3. Allen backs in on Bujemi, hoists one up with the right hand, no. Rebound tapped out to Torrey. St. Ambrose will try again. Long two-pointer from a falter, no good. Rebounded by Bujemi. St. Francis comes up with 2 stops on the same possession. Now Thornton cutting to the basket, a foul called, and this one is on the defense. Isaiah Harvey called for the foul on Thornton, and it comes on the drive, so the Saints will inbound. Jordan Thornton, Malik Bailey checks out. Tobias comes in for the first time, Carlos Tobias. Junior guard for St. Francis. Jordan Thornton is the inbounder. Into Quasigro, who hands it to Thornton. Jordan Thornton backs it up outside. Here's Jared Camazel with the clock now running down under 12 minutes to play. Quasigro hands it to Thornton. Thornton well guarded by Harvey. Shot clock is at 5. Thornton around the screen to the basket. Layup high off the glass is good. And the Saints are back in front. 53-51. And we're tied again. That was a falter cutting to the hoop and laying it in. 53-all. Neither side has been able to pull away here in the second half. Nearly halfway through this second half as Bujemi is bumped by Warren Allen. Foul is called on the St. Ambrose forward. Allen, a junior out of Marion Catholic High School, Chicago's south suburbs. As usual, St. Ambrose has a lot of Chicago area natives on the roster. Joey Bujemi in the circle at midcourt, passing off to the left side to Vias. Now up top, Jared Gamazel. Long three-point attempt for Gamazel, no good. The rebound goes to St. Ambrose. It's Isaiah Harvey dribbling in on Tobias. Pull up from 13 feet, no good. Rebounded by Quasigro. Jordan Thornton cuts inside the arc, and Thornton is fouled once again by Harvey. That's the first foul, make that the second foul call on Isaiah Harvey. 53-53, Saints basketball. It's the third foul on St. Ambrose in this half. Thornton is again set to be the trigger man, but it won't be underneath the basket. They move the location to the sideline. Thornton gets it into Quasigro. Mitch Quasigro bounces once and gives it to Joey Bujemi. Here's Quasigro. Bouncing to his right, he hands it off to Gamazel, cutting the hoop, stripped by Harvey. A steal for Isaiah Harvey. He runs St. Ambrose's break off to Williams, and Michael Williams is fouled going up. 10:42 to play, second half. 53-53. Mitch Quasigro is called for his second foul. It's the third on the team. And Michael Williams has a chance to put his team back in front on free throws. Williams makes the first. St. Ambrose 7 of 8 as a team from the free throw line today. Not a great free throw shooting team this season. They have been good today. Williams' second shot rims out. And the rebound is tapped over to Jordan Thornton. So it's just a 1-point deficit for the Fighting Saints. Quasigro passes to Thornton. Now on the left side, it's the starter Cole Misick back in the game after a lengthy respite. Quasigro hands it to Thornton. Long 2-point jumper, no good. And the rebound goes to St. Ambrose. Here's Meski, hounded by Tobias. Lobs it low for Torrey. Torrey pretty far outside the basket, hands it off. Meski drives on Lewis Holy. His dish towards Torrey is deflected. The ball is loose. Rolling around, we've got a foul on St. Francis. Actually, I take that back. They're just going to call it out of bounds. Carlos Tobias battling for that ball. He stepped on the baseline as he tried to rip it out of the hands of Torrey. So it is St. Ambrose ball, but it's not a foul. The shot clock doesn't reset. It's at 13. As Williams inbounds it. Meski right back to Williams. Wide open three. Air ball. Rebounded by Lewis Holy. Saints looking to take the lead. It's Tobias driving the baseline. Layup from Carlos Tobias is good. The lead changes hands again and again as Williams lays it in quickly on the other side. 56-55 St. Ambrose. A miss from Misick. Holy is there to grab it and lay it in. And the Saints are back in front. St. Ambrose trying to work quickly, but the Saints defense does a nice job getting back. Ben Scholes walks it to the right. Scholes up to Kerr. John Kerr for three. Got it. St. Ambrose by a deuce now, 59-57. So far, we've seen 7 lead changes in this second half alone. Misick step back two-pointer, no good. In and out on Misick's jumper. St. Ambrose basketball, 8:45 to play. The Bees lead by 2. There's a drive from Meski. Gives it up outside. Three-point attempt from Kazanecki is no good. Offensive rebound, but Kazanecki is called for the travel after pulling the ball in. Saints have not shot the ball here in the second half nearly at the rate they did in the first. But St. Ambrose has continued to turn the ball over at a high rate. And that has kept the Saints hanging around here. They were up by 10 at the intermission, now down by 2. Lewis Holy at the free throw line kicks it in the corner. Quasegro for 3, in and out. Saints just can't get anything to fall from the outside right now. Ben Scholes walks across half court for St. Ambrose. Passing to a cutting Williams. Williams working against Mysick, throws it up off the backboard. No. A little bit too strong on that runner. Saints in response have Jordan Thornton. Up top to Quasegro. Back to Thornton. He slows it down. Thornton backs it up to the logo at midcourt. He moves around a screen from Holy to the left. Thornton cuts to the basket. Throws up a wild one. No. Holy's tip. Nowhere near the basket. Scholes comes down with it. Ahead for Williams. Williams to the basket. Offensive foul. Michael Williams called for the charge. Mitch Quasegro took it. And Williams picks up his third foul. He was called for 2 in the first half. He's been playing for a long time with 2 fouls and now finally picks up his third. 2 of the 3 have been offensive. Williams checks out for now. Eric Ting is back in for the Saints. This is Jordan Thornton, who's played big minutes tonight off the bench. Gets a rest. Malik Bailey is in the corner for the Saints. Bailey around the screen, circles to the right wing, and now pulls it all the way back to half court. Holy into the corner. Ting, open 3. He got it. Saints have been searching for that one, and all it took was a wide open shot for Eric Ting. So they're able to reclaim the lead. A foul called on Ting on the other side. 13 points, by the way, now for Eric Ting. He scored 18 in his last game, after averaging just 6 over the first 3 games of the year. He's got 31 over his last 2 contests, and still a long way to go in this one. The foul on Ting was his second. It was only the 4th on the team. Both teams are at just 4 fouls, so we got a long way to go before we see free throw battle here. John Kerr sizes up a 3-pointer, misses it short. Rebound to Holy, ahead for Mysick. Mysick takes it into the teeth of the defense, and he's called for an offensive foul. Scholes stood in there and took the charge. St. Francis leads 60-59, but they turn the ball over as Mysick is ruled with his second foul. 6:52 to play, St. Ambrose basketball. Kerr ahead for Meski. Meski gets it across half court with 3 seconds to spare. Guarded by Bailey as he walks to his left. Over to Warren Allen. Allen held up by Lewis Holy, who steps back on him. John Kerr with 10 to shoot. Over to Kazmarek. St. Ambrose works it around the perimeter. Ben Scholes, 5 on the shot clock. Scholes gets inside, throws it up. A wild one. I'm not sure if that was a shot or a pass, but the loose ball is picked up by the Saints. Here comes Eric Ting down the lane. Ting is halted, bounces out to Bailey. Thought about the 3, gets inside instead. Floater off the glass. Doesn't matter, it's a charge. We've seen 3 charges called in the last minute. The second one against St. Francis. And it goes against Malik Bailey, his first foul of the game. And it's the 6th on St. Francis. Just a moment ago I said a long way before we see a free throw battle here. But now St. Ambrose is in the bonus with just over 6 minutes to play. Dylan Kazmarek holds the ball on the outside as the Fighting Bees look to reclaim the lead. Kazmarek, guarded by Ting, passes outside to Scholes. Warren Allen fakes the 3, steps in, long 2 instead. It misses short and out of bounds on an air ball. Allen thought he was fouled by Mitch Quasegro. I turned my head and I looked back and they're both on the floor. But not enough for a foul. So with 5:44 to play, it's St. Francis ball nursing a 1-point lead. Here's Bailey into the corner for Ting. Ting gets the screen from Lewis Holy. Now lobs it up for Holy, a little bit too high, off the fingertips of Holy and taken away by Kerr. Ambrose basketball. It's Scholes trying to get the lead back for the Bees. Stripped by Holy, but he's fouled. Lewis Holy is called for the foul, and Ben Scholes is headed for the free throw line. Scholes is an 11-point per game scorer. He's been quiet today, 6 points in the game. 8 of 9 from the foul line this year, though. He makes the first. We're tied at 60. Ninth time we've been tied today. And if this second shot goes in, it'll be the 11th lead change, and the vast majority of those ties and lead changes have come in the second half. The Saints led almost the entire first half. 61-60 on the pair of free throws from Scholes. And now St. Francis is trying to get off the schneid. They're in a scoring drought. Ting holds the ball on the left side, guarded by Scholes. Gets a screen from Holy, step back jumper, falls. Nice shot, Eric Ting. Saints in front again. Across half court, it's Dylan Kazmarek. To his right, Ben Scholes. Scholes pass deflected, taken away. Bujemi was the one who tipped it. Holy gets the steal. Jordan Thornton back to Eric Ting. And Ting slows it down. He gets a screen to the right side, drives on Williams, kicks it out to Thornton. Jordan Thornton cuts to the basket. He scores and one. And Michael Williams is called for the foul, his fourth.
The foul is called on number 23, Michael Williams.
Jordan Thornton entered play today, averaging better than 12 points per game, leading the team in scoring off the bench. He's got 6 points in tonight's contest. And looking to add one right here. He does, 65-61. First time either side has had a two-possession lead since it was 46 to 41, I think. Sounds about right. Pass tipped and stolen by Bujemi. Another turnover forced by the Fighting Saints. Here comes Eric Ting. Ting down the lane, dishes it out to Thornton, and Thornton once again slows it down. Hand off to Ting, behind his back, shovels it off to Holy, who scores. Beautiful ball work from Eric Ting, and Lewis Holy gets the points out of it. 67-61 St. Francis. Saints are on a 7-0 run. 3-point attempt from a falter halts that run and pulls St. Ambrose back within a single possession. 67-64. What a game we've got coming down the stretch here. First half, we saw both teams go on long runs. The second half has been defined by back and forth play. After St. Ambrose came back from a 10-point halftime deficit and took the lead after just a couple of minutes. They've been trading baskets, it seems, for the last 12 or 13. Holy working against her down low. Great post moves from Lewis Holy. He scores with the left hand. Fighting Saints by 5. Just over 3 minutes to play. John Kerr gets across the timeline. He hands it off to a falter. Isaiah Harvey on the right wing. Guarded loosely by Ting. Dribbles to his left. Pass to Kazmarek. In the corner, it's a falter again. 7 to shoot. And Lewis Holy is called for the kick. Fresh 20 on the shot clock for St. Ambrose. 2:43 to play in regulation. Dylan Kazmarek will inbound it for the Bees. Lobbed in for a falter on the left. He walks it to the top of the key, passing over the left side. Kaczmarek steps inside, baseline jumper, misses. Holy taps the rebound out to Ting. Eric Ting has 1-on-3, wanted to run. Did not have the numbers for it, so he pulls back instead. Ting guarded by Harvey at half court. Passes to his right. Lewis Holy at the three-point line, I should say. Handed back to Ting. Ting lobs it down low for Holy. Holy up with the right hand. No. He gets his own rebound. Back up. No again. Rebounded by Kaczmarek. St. Ambrose trying to cut into a 5-point deficit. Kaczmarek bounces down low for Williams. He turns around, puts it up and misses. And the rebound knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Williams. Williams didn't think so. Ball goes St. Francis's way. Here's Mitch Quasi-Grow into the game for the Saints. Joey Bajemi sits down. A minute 57 to play. And the Saints now can run a little clock. If they score here, they can make it a 3-possession game with potentially under a minute and a half to go. Ting passes off to Bailey. Back up to Ting, driving from the right side, layup, no. Good drive, didn't finish. Rebound goes to Ben Scholes. St. Ambrose ball. Scholes pulls up at the top of the key, fires a 3 and drills it. We've got a 2-point game, 69-67. The Bees are not going down quietly. St. Francis has led most of the way. St. Ambrose fought back from behind early in the second half. Jordan Thornton keeps the Saints in front with a long deuce. 71-67. Just over a minute to play. Scholes bounces to John Kerr across the timeline. Over the right. 3-point attempt misses from Meski. Long rebound back to Meski. The Bees reset. Meski goes low to Williams, back out to Kerr. Nice fake. Now Kerr fires to Kaczmarek on the right. Wide open 3. And we've got a 1-point game. Timeout called by St. Francis. They lead by 1, 71-70, with 47 seconds to play in regulation. St. Francis again has led the majority of this contest. St. Ambrose fought back from a 10-point halftime deficit. They took the lead, but never by more than 3. They went on that long run to start the half, but the Saints hung in there. They weathered a storm after a really bad start shooting the ball in the second half. They've gotten the hang of it again, and the two teams traded leads for a while. 12 lead changes today. The team has been tied on 9 different occasions. And it's just been a really fun basketball game to watch. It'll be more fun for St. Francis if they're able to hold off this charge from St. Ambrose. Saints have won 5 of the last 7 games in this rivalry. The only 2 games that the Bees won during that stretch were both in the 2017-18 season. It was a down year for the Fighting Saints, but they're back up. Last season, went to the national tournament, made it into the round of 16. And this year, ranked number 19 to open up the season, and they have been battle-tested early on this year. 3 of the Fighting Saints' first 4 games have been decided by 4 points or less. One of them was decided by a 3-pointer at the buzzer. Finally got a more comfortable win against Trinity Christian over the weekend, but back to their old tricks now. 1-point game. St. Ambrose looking for the stop. No need to foul with 34 seconds still to play. Eric Ting at the top of the key, drives, kicks to Thornton. Thornton steps back. His jumper is blocked by Scholes. St. Ambrose gets the rebound. They're trying to work quickly. Kaczmarek slows it down. 20 seconds to play, and a timeout is called by Kaczmarek. So out of their timeout, the Saints come up empty. They lead by 1 point with 20 seconds to play. St. Ambrose will have the ball coming out of the timeout. And the shot clock will be off. Ray Shovlin can draw up a play for one shot here, but down by one, I don't think St. Ambrose wants to run all the clock. I think they want to get one off with maybe 10 seconds or so. Probably best shot they can find, even if it comes right away. They want to give themselves at least 2 chances. They've been pretty solid throughout this game on the offensive glass, so certainly St. Francis has to be careful about boxing out here. And of course, if the Bees miss and the Saints come away with the rebound, St. Ambrose wants to give themselves enough time to foul and ensure that they'll get one more possession. It'll be interesting to see who gets the ball here. I talked about it earlier. St. Ambrose extremely balanced scoring-wise. They've got 3 players averaging at least 14 points, 5 players averaging at least 9 points. And they've been balanced tonight as well. Ben Schultz has gotten hot here in the second half. Michael Williams has been probably their most consistent scorer throughout this game. Both Williams and Kerr, their 2 leading scorers this year, have been in and out with foul trouble, but they've both shown flashes today when they've been in there. 71-70, St. Francis leads. St. Ambrose basketball with 20.1 seconds to go. Kazmarek inbounds it to the backcourt, and Jake Meske. Meske is taking his time as he walks across half court. 12 seconds to play. Meske drives, gets inside, puts it up, scores, and draws the foul with 9 seconds to play. There's one name I did not mention. Meske has had a tough day offensively, but a 14-point-per-game scorer, and he never even looked to pass on that possession. Took it in all the way himself, and he gives St. Ambrose a 1-point lead. They'll have a chance to make it a 2-point lead in just a moment, but first St. Francis uses up a timeout. So now Meske, a good free throw shooter, will try to make it 73-71, and then the Saints will get one final chance. Saints have shot the ball better from the outside tonight than they have in any other game this year. Assuming that this free throw is made, which is certainly not a sure thing, the Saints wouldn't, of course, need a 3. A 3 would win it. They would need a 2 to tie, and if Meske does miss this free throw, Saints will have a chance to win the game on a 2-pointer. Let's see if Coach Ryan Marks makes any changes to his personnel on the floor. He's been going with Jordan Thornton off the bench for most of this second half. Cole Misick has been sitting out. Misick, remember, is the guy who did hit the game-winning shot at the buzzer last week against Aquinas, but I'll stick with Malik Bailey, Jordan Thornton, Eric Ting, Lewis Holy, and Mitch Quasigro here. Saints do still have a timeout, so wouldn't expect it, but if there's a missed free throw here, they get the rebound, they could call another timeout to set up a play. Free throw is good, so 73-71, 9 seconds. St. Francis needs 2 to tie, a 3 would win it. Eric Ting across half court, he's fouled. And the Bees had 1 to give. They gave it a little early, 5.3 still on the clock. So the Saints will inbound from the sideline with plenty of time to set up a play here. And now the Saints do call a timeout. As we're on the right side of half court. It's a full timeout. 5.3 to go. And now on this side of half court, they really will have the opportunity to draw something up to get the ball in the hands of whoever they want taking the final shot here. Eric Ting has been their leading scorer throughout today's game. Jordan Thornton has performed well off the bench. Thornton's got 13 points. Lewis Holy has contributed 14 of his own. Holy's a guy, though, who's certainly not going to create a shot for himself. He'd look to get the ball probably in the hands of either Ting or Thornton. Ting's been the guy who's been the best playmaker for St. Francis tonight and throughout much of the season. Averaging over 10 points per game now. He entered play also averaging 5 assists per contest, and he's had certainly his best home game of the season. with 15 points this evening. I would think that that's the guy they'll try to get the ball to initially. Whether he's the guy who takes the final shot, I don't know. Same five on the floor for the Fighting Saints. 5.3 on the clock. Malik Bailey will be the inbounder, but not yet. St. Ambrose calls the timeout. Ray Shovlin just wanted to see what St. Francis was bringing out, how they were going to set up. And now he calls timeout so he can tell his team how to defend it. St. Ambrose has won 5 of their first 6 games this year. They really haven't been challenged by any of the top teams in conference yet. This is the first meeting this season with an opponent who was picked to finish at or near the top of the conference. St. Francis 2-1 in CCAC play. They dropped a really tough contest with Calumet St. Joseph last week. And now they're trying not to make it 2 straight losses at home. This one would be another really difficult loss. The Saints have led by as many as 14 in this game. St. Ambrose never by more than 3. But the Bees are the team with a 2-point lead now, 5 seconds to play. Bailey gets it into Jordan Thornton. Thornton drives. Thornton on the run. He's fouled with 1.8 on the clock. Jordan Thornton draws the foul and he goes to the line to try to tie it up with 2 free throws. The ball ended up getting lodged between the backboard and the rim. Would have been a held ball. Possession arrow would have stayed with St. Francis had there not been a foul called. Thornton now, though, will get 2 shots. And the first one is good. 73-72. Another timeout called by St. Ambrose. If Thornton makes this, we are most likely, well, not necessarily, going to overtime. If Thornton misses this shot, Saints have Quasiro and Holy down underneath. Try to get that rebound and tip it back in for the win. If he does make it, though, St. Ambrose will have 1.8 seconds to go the length of the floor. Both teams still do have 1 timeout. Fighting Saints have not yet played an overtime game this year. They had 2 games decided by 2 points and 1 other that came down to the wire, ended up as a 4-point final margin of victory back in their season opener on November 6th. But they've not yet finished a game in a tie and had to go on for an extra few minutes. It's all up to Jordan Thornton right now. Thornton has 14 points in the game. He is an excellent foul shooter. 13 of 15 this year. This is the biggest one he's taken all season. Thornton's free throw is good. We're tied. St. Ambrose will try to go the length of the floor to win it in 1.8 seconds. Saints trying to force overtime with a stop here. Michael Williams is the inbounder. Williams looking to get something going towards the basket. It's deflected away by Lewis. Holy Shoals picks it up and blocked out of bounds as time expires. We're going to overtime. It was a very dangerous inbounds play for St. Ambrose. If that ball had gone out of bounds on the initial throw, the Saints would have had an opportunity from right underneath St. Ambrose's hoop to try to win the game. But it was deflected by Holy, knocked away twice, in fact. He initially tapped it away and then blocked the shot attempt out of bounds. We're going to overtime. 73-73 tie. I'm going to take a quick break. Back in just a moment with the overtime period. 73-73. St. Francis and St. Ambrose are tied. The Saints have held the lead for the vast majority of this game. But St. Ambrose came up with the big play they needed in the final seconds to take the lead. Jordan Thornton hit 2 free throws with 1.8 on the clock to send us to OT. 5 minutes on the clock. Lewis Holy against John Kerr on the jump ball here to get us started. Tip is won by St. Ambrose. Fouls carry over from regulation. St. Ambrose has committed 7, St. Francis 8. So neither team is yet in the double bonus. But we are going to see St. Ambrose go to the free throw line very early here in overtime as a foul is called on Lewis Holy reaching in from behind. John Kerr has 2 free throws, or rather 1 and 1 coming his way. Maybe 2. Who knows? Good free throw shooter, but he misses the first. 88% from the line, but he misses the front end. So the Saints have a chance to strike first in overtime. Jordan Thornton on the outside. Passes to Malik Bailey down in the corner. Bailey gets a screen from Holy, works his way to the hoop, floater, misses, and the rebound goes to Michael Williams. Both teams come up empty on their first possession of overtime. St. Ambrose trying to break the stalemate. Meske is fouled. That is the 10th team foul on the Saints. So 2 free throws here for Meske, and 2 free throws the rest of the way for St. Ambrose. Meske hit the free throw that gave St. Ambrose a 2-point lead with just 9 seconds left in regulation. He hits the first free throw here. 74-73. St. Ambrose is back on top. And now they lead by 2. (75-73). Malik Bailey holds it for the Fighting Saints outside. Bounce over to Quasiro, back to Bailey for 3. That's short. Malik Bailey, ice cold from the outside to start the year. Did make 2 3-pointers early. Hasn't scored since halftime, though. Kazmarek to Meske on the right. Meske, dribble drive, pull-up jumper is good. And St. Ambrose has their biggest lead of the game. It comes in overtime for the first time tonight. They've got a 2-score advantage. 77-73 St. Ambrose. Eric Ting around a screen from Lewis Holy. Pull-up jumper. In and out. Couldn't get it to fall. Looked good out of his hands. But now St. Ambrose has the ball up by 4. Kazmarek walks to his left and gives it to Meske. Meske guarded by Ting. Works the shot clock down to 14. Now drives. Runner off the backboard. No. Rebounded by Quasiro. Here comes Ting pushing it up the floor. Eric Ting works his way inside. Pulls up. Bounces out to Quasiro. Quasiro drives to the free throw line. His pass deflected. Stolen by St. Ambrose. So far, the overtime period has been controlled by the Bees. We're nearly halfway through it. St. Francis is yet to score. Kazmarek walks to the left, steps back, passes to Williams. Over on the right side, Meske. 6 seconds to shoot. Meske shoots right now. Misses the 3-pointer short. Long rebound out to Scholes. And St. Ambrose will run a little bit more clock and have another chance to extend their lead. This is Kazmarek on the outside. With 10 on the shot clock, he passes to his left. Meske dribbles into the corner, now cuts down the baseline, hands it off to Kerr. Kerr goes up, scores, and draws the foul. Great setup by Meske, and John Kerr powers it up and has a chance at a 3-point play. 79-73. St. Francis led 71-67 late as Kerr makes the free throw. St. Ambrose scored 6 of the final 8 points to send it to overtime. And now they're on a 13-2 run overall as Holy gets the pass inside. He puts it up and misses. Rebound tapped to Bailey. Saints will try again. Ting on the right wing. Bounces to Thornton. Long 3-pointer. Jordan Thornton keeps the Saints in the game on the 3. First basket of overtime for St. Francis. It comes with under 2 minutes on the clock. And they're back within 4, 80-76. Here's Kerr giving it up to Kazmarek at half court. St. Ambrose is in no hurry here with 1:40 to play. Kazmarek with 10 on the shot clock. Bounces to his right. Guarded by Quasigro. He steps back, passes to Williams. Open shooter, Meske elects to drive instead. Kick to Scholes in the corner. Three-pointer at the buzzer, misses short. On the floor, Lewis Holy falls on the rebound. We'll see what they call here. I think we've got a tie-up. Possession arrow faces St. Francis. Good hustle by Lewis Holy. Keeps the Saints alive. The Bees narrowly missed a shot clock violation there. Scholes got it off as the time was expiring, but just missed on the three. Here's Eric Ting passing over to Quasigro. Up top, Jordan Thornton. Thornton drives. Thornton on the runner. Misses. Rebounded by Kerr. And Kerr's bumped from behind by Holy. That's a foul. Kerr's going the other way to shoot two. Holy is called for his fourth foul. John Kerr, an 88% foul shooter. He's made 1 of 2 here in the overtime period, 2 of 3 for the game, and he misses this one. 65 seconds remain. Kerr frustrated with himself after that miss. Takes a little walk to compose himself before the second. Second shot good from Kerr. 81-76. Saints looking to score quickly here. Ting, top of the key for 3. Way off. Rebound goes back to Jordan Thornton. Thornton has scored the last 5 points for the Saints, trying to make it 8 in a row, but he misses the three-point attempt. Rebounded by Williams. And now just 45 seconds to go. St. Ambrose could potentially put the game away with a score here. Williams running some clock, pressured by Quasigro. Give it up to Meske. Meske steps back to half court. 10 to shoot. Here's the drive. Meske pulls up, open 2, in and out. Rebound, and a loose ball foul. This one called against St. Ambrose. It'll bring St. Francis down to shoot free throws, and this is exactly what they need right now, a chance to score some points without the clock moving. It'll be 1-1 for Mitch Quasigro. 71% free throw shooter. If Quasigro makes them both, it will be a one-possession game. But with the shot clock off, the Saints will need a quick steal going the other way. First things first, Quasigro needs to make this first foul shot. He does, so he'll get one more. Second shot for Quasigro is good, 81-78. Timeout called by St. Francis. They trail by 3. Saints never trailed by more than 3 in regulation. St. Ambrose came out firing on all cylinders in the overtime period, though. Jumping out very quickly to a 7-point lead before the Saints even got their first points. St. Francis has been able to fight their way back into this game, but they have not shot the ball well, certainly from the outside. Since halftime, they were 9 of 14 on 3 balls in the first half. Since then, they've gone just 3 of 13. St. Ambrose, on the other hand, 2 of 7 from the outside in the first half. Since then, 6 of 13. So that's your premier indicator right there of why this game has turned around so dramatically. And now the Saints will try for the quick steal, and if not, try to force the ball into the hands of one of St. Ambrose's weaker foul shooters. There are some options there. Michael Williams, not a great free throw shooter at just 60%. Jake Meske is at 71%. And he would be the second worst free throw shooter on the floor. Everybody else shooting upwards of 80. You look at Meskey, Kaczmarek, and Scholes. Saints have forced 18 St. Ambrose turnovers tonight, though. See if they can get a quick one right here as Michael Williams prepares to inbound. Williams gets it into Scholes. Tobias lunges for the steal and misses. And Mitch Quasiro is called for foul. And that was a little anticipation there from the official. Quasiro, I don't think, touched him. And he initially turned to argue and then realized he kind of needed to foul anyway, so he won't complain. Scholes, an 89% free throw shooter, 8 of 9 this year coming into tonight. And Scholes makes the first. So it'll be a 2-possession game when the Saints get the ball back, one way or the other. Lewis Holley back in for Tobias. Second free throw coming from Scholes. He made them both. 83-78, St. Francis basketball. As a drive from Ting, he loses control, falls out of bounds, and it's St. Ambrose ball on the turnover. Tobias back in for defense. And now the Saints absolutely need a quick steal. You can't keep sending these good foul shooters to the line, but Kerr is going to go back down on the other end and shoot 2 free throws. And if he makes both of these, that might well do it for the game. If he makes just one of 2, it's still a 2-possession contest, but if he makes them both, 7-point lead is going to be awfully difficult to overcome in just 14 seconds. First free throw for Kerr falls. This is the big one right now. And they were both big. But right now, if Kerr makes this, it might be all she wrote. And it is going to be a tall order for St. Francis now, trailing 85-78, 10 seconds left. Thornton fires a long-range 3. No good. Rebounded by St. Ambrose. And I think the Saints are going to play it out. They double-team Meskey, but they don't foul. 85-78 is our final score. St. Ambrose trailed by as many as 14 points. They were down by 10 at the half. Never led by more than 3 points in regulation, but they were able to fight back and steal a victory away from St. Francis. And that's now 2 consecutive home losses for the Fighting Saints, in which they led big in the first half. And a disappointing result today in overtime. But St. Francis does end up falling 85-78. Take a quick look at some of the stats before signing off tonight. Saints were led on offense by Jordan Thornton, who finished with 18 points off the bench, 6 of 17 shooting. They got 15 from Eric Ting, who also dished out 4 assists, 14 for Lewis Holley, who brings in his 3rd double-double of the season. He had 12 rebounds tonight. Mitch Quasiro finished with 8 points, 7 rebounds for the Fighting Saints. St. Ambrose was paced by John Kerr, 17 points, 8 rebounds for him. They also got 14 from Michael Williams and 13 from Ben Scholes. And it was really the shooting that told the tale in this one. St. Francis shot 52% from the field in the first half, 64% on 3-pointers in the first half. The rest of the game, they were 3 for 14 on 3-pointers and went just 13 for 39 from the field, 33% after halftime. Meanwhile, St. Ambrose stayed steady the entire game shooting-wise. First half, they shot it at 48%, and for the game, they shot it at 48%. So they just kept working at it, and they finally were able to hit a rhythm and keep going as St. Francis slowed down, as the Fighting Saints were held to just 34 points in the second half and overtime today. So another nail-biter for St. Francis. They've already won games by margins of 2 and 4 this year. They've lost games by 2 and this one by 7, but obviously a game that was a lot closer than the final score would make it seem, because, of course, it was tied at the end of regulation, but the Saints fall in overtime as they were outscored in the overtime period 15 to make that
12-3. I'll get it right eventually. 12-5. The score in the overtime period, 12-5. St. Ambrose outscores St. Francis in the final 5. With the win, the Fighting Bees improved to 6-1 this year, 3-0 in conference. Very strong start for the Bees. The Fighting Saints of St. Francis fall to 3-2. They are 2-2 in CCAC play. That'll do it for today's game. Next one coming up for the Fighting Saints is going to be on the road this weekend. They are in San Antonio, Texas for the Incarnate Word Classic. They'll be out there for 3 games. And then back home after Thanksgiving for the USF Thanksgiving Classic. They'll have games on Saturday and Sunday of that weekend immediately after Thanksgiving. Our next broadcast will be Saturday the 30th at 6 o'clock. Hopefully you're with us for that one. Today our final score 85-78. St. Ambrose takes out St. Francis in overtime. Until next time, this is Terry Baudadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Good night all.